Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second episode of the Garnet Cast. Yeah, I don't know. I'll get better at these intros. Don't worry, team. My name is Admin Ronaldo, and they let me do the intros because I'm the best at talking, which isn't saying much. What's the problem? In this episode, while Pearl and Sapphire are sitting and crying,
crying and lesbian.
Yeah. Steven and Amethyst go out to look for Ruby, but because Ruby disappeared in last episode, and
that's the entire episode.
That's
basically the episode.
And then Amethyst is like not into it, so Steven's like, "Hey, Amethyst, can you please? Like, I'm trying here. I'm trying to find Ruby," and Amethyst's like, "No, I don't want to look for Ruby because I don't want to dump thousands of years of junk on you," which is fair, but and then she's like, "Oh well, I'm gonna go do whatever. You don't have to do anything, Steven, because you don't deserve to have to do this." And Steven's like, "Well, I kind of want to help my friends because I'm a good person, and
I'm gonna help my friends, and you can't stop me.
I'm gonna be a good person.
Let me love you."
I'm sorry, I'm screaming, and I hope no one's listening to this with headphones. And then
I have headphones in right now, and I want to die.
Ding dong, sunshine, future, your friend forever, and I'm not gonna do anything to you. We're best friends
My
again.
drill is going to pierce the heavens.
I was just about to say that's just short of believing the me that believes in you bit.
I swear to God.
This is turned into a shit show.
This podcast.
No, bear it up.
All right, here we go. Damn it. Just immediate thoughts on this episode. What do you guys think? What do you guys think?
It really
liked it because Amethyst.
I don't know. This was actually like a really good filler episode, which was obviously a filler episode in between like the drama of what just happened, because they always do those. They have to throw in a random filler episode, but this one was really good because it showed character growth, and that's pretty much what it focused on, was character growth.
Yeah.
And like a mindset of Amethyst that you don't really think about because she's always been like the youngest gem next to Steven.
And
so like
she's always seen as the gem who doesn't give a crap because
the one that's always kind of like really rebellious and outlandish.
Yeah.
So this was
this was that this isn't her problem. This isn't about her. And honestly, that it is definitely a filler episode, but I do like it because of that.
I don't know.
Because
it's not filler like other episodes are filler, because like
No, it's not like pointless filler. Like it has a point.
Like you can't,
which is really good.
No, I mean like
a good filler should tell us more about the characters and or the world that we live in instead of continuing the plot forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I'm saying though, is that like this kind of pushes the plot forward because it's them actually finding Ruby. Granted, that could have been done in like 2 minutes instead of 11 minutes, but whatever. Anyway,
that's why it's called a filler.
Yeah.
This is
I don't watch anime. I don't care about filler. I mean, I watched a few episodes of My Hero Academia, but like that's
fantastic anime, by the way.
Still haven't seen it.
Neither have I, but I want to.
I've got
shit with my girlfriend because like she
really
likes the show, and it's like, well, shoot, I should probably like this. Anyway, So let's just. I wasn't a huge fan of this episode. When I first watched it, I liked it more than the last one, but then like rewatching it this morning so I could get notes down and so I could get my thoughts in order, I'm not a fan of this episode.
I like it for the character development, but if I had to choose between the first and second episode of it being my favorite between those two, I'd pick the first episode.
I don't know.
I kind of liked this episode better in a way than the first episode because I mean, like they both have really important points, but this one's more like of a heartfelt kind of mental state that I haven't really seen since like Smoky Quartz, you know?
Yeah, that's very true.
It shows this kind of like vulnerability and like matureness that you don't really look at it being like a kid's show, but it's something that needs to be talked about.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Instead of like Sapphire crying over Rose, like, which was a really good episode. Like, I'm not saying it was a bad one, but out of the two, I honestly this one.
Yeah.
I mean, like Steven Universe, the show, excels in like emotions and like
Yeah,
oh,
but it's
why
always
does
like
this character
sad
feel
emotions.
this?
Like
Why is
it's
it doing
never
this?
like, hey, this isn't your problem emotions, you know?
Hence the
It's
nickname
always
All
like
Singing
a-
and Crying.
It's always like feel bad for me because something bad happened to me, not hey, something bad happened to me, I need to take care of it, not you. You know?
And the queen of that is Lapis.
The queen of that
Yeah.
is Lapis.
I love Lapis,
Ooh,
but boy,
Lapis. That's
We'll get to
something
her
we
in
can talk
Reunited.
about Lapis.
yeah,
Lapis, you hurt me.
like, I love
Lapis hurts
Lapis, but
everyone.
boy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Lapis hurts
Rose, what do you
herself.
have to say about this episode?
Yeah, you've been
Okay.
quiet this whole time.
Oh, sorry. I just didn't want to overspeak over everybody. I kind of have a habit of doing that,
that's
so
my
I was
job
just
to
waiting.
Speak over people.
Okay, so for me, I had a lot of notes for this episode, but I'm not gonna drone on forever because I don't want to bore anyone. But honestly, this was actually, if like everyone's talking about how if they had to pick one episode over the other, this one was my favorite out of these two so far. Just personally because we get to see more of Amethyst's like personality, and because it's just she's seen as immature and everything like that, but then you see she's really just trying to take care of Steven when everyone else is like kind of freaking out. Everyone's like, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do now? Our leader's basically gone because everyone classifies Garnet as the leader. But Amethyst just wants to take time to focus on Steven and have him process all of this because trying to rush him into something new is just going to like tear him to pieces. He's only human. And I think it's just really interesting and really sweet to see Amethyst just care so much. Like, even though at first I was like, what the hell are you doing? Do you, like, not care? But then I started realizing when they were, like, at, I think Fish Stew Pizza is the name of the place.
Yeah, that's what
like, when they were eating, and she just started asking questions, I'm like, oh, she's focusing on him instead. And, like, then it all unfolded and everything like that. And I'm like, ugh, I need a friend like Amethyst, someone to focus on me, because I don't focus on me. I actually made an entire little tangent on that. Like, Steven is really mature for being like 15. He tries really hard to like be there for everyone else and stuff like that, but he doesn't focus on himself. And personally, I found that super relatable because I don't focus on myself like at all. So I just found it really relatable, and this episode was super emotional for me. And lastly, I think one of my favorite lines from this episode was Steven screaming at Helicopter Amethyst, and how does that make you feel?
That was great, honestly.
Get it out of my
Yeah,
head.
that was.
You're literally in my head right now.
Get off my back.
Is
That was
this just
good.
because you're copying her notes? Or... Anyway,
I kind of basically just read off my own notes.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I again, like, my problem with this episode is that Amethyst is just like not caring. Like, yes, I get it. I totally agree with Steven. He doesn't deserve this. He doesn't deserve this responsibility he's been given. This thousands of years of just sadness and depression and war and everything doesn't deserve to be thrust upon him. But like, let's be honest, Steven's dealing with it really well. Like, he's doing a great job.
He's dealing with it better than what I could have. Like, you're doing amazing,
Yeah.
sweetie.
I think it's just like an inherited kind of thing. Like it's like, well, she can't be here to take care of it, so I might as well do it.
I know this is gonna be a really weird comparison, but this is all that's going through my head right now. This kind of reminds me of Five Nights at Freddy's. Because you know the theory of...
Why
Oh, no.
Let me explain. So you know the whole theory of... So you know the whole theory of how William Afton's son is basically going around trying to clean up his father's mess?
No.
That's what this kind of reminds me of. It's like sins of the father in a literal sense. It's also kind of like Piccolo and Dragon Ball Z to an extent. Like he's trying to atone for the bad name his father gave him.
Yeah, atone for your
We're
sins.
talking about
like-
FNAF. Can
Yeah.
someone that makes me think of game theory. Can someone take the Sans' Nest thumbnail and edit it?
boy.
So,
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't want to get copyright struck, okay? Let's not, alright?
no, let's do that. Let's do exactly that.
See if we can notice.
But we'll get zucked.
It sucks.
Cat's gonna call this up. I don't know. My problem with this still though, like, I agree with Amethyst that, like, Amethyst the character, not Amethyst the admin. Yeah, no, Steven, you don't deserve any of this crap, but you don't. The way to deal with that is like, okay, Ruby ran off. We got to find Ruby. We're trying to find Ruby. You can't be like, oh, well, you know what? I'd rather play games at Funland and run around and do whatever. Like,
I mean, this episode kind of showed both sides of Amethyst, like, to a point. Like, her kind of fun, joking off, trying to calm everyone down. Like,
I think there's a way to do that without distracting. Like, I think the way she was doing it, it seemed like she was trying to take away from the, like, searching for Ruby. Like, no, this is a thing we need to do. And that's why Steven at the end is like, I think you're the most mature crystal gem. And I can't agree with that because she ran off. Yeah, I mean, look, in my notes, I wrote down that, like, Amethyst using humor to mask her feelings is totally in character for her, which it is. But she's not the most mature crystal gem. I think Steven is. Just because Amethyst doesn't turn into a blubbering mess at the thought of Garnet not coming back, that doesn't mean she wasn't wrong in this episode.
I think, like,
again, she's right for not wanting to dump it all on Steven, but she's still running away from her problems, which isn't the most mature thing in the world. And she's not a bad person for acting like this, but at the end they act like she's super mature, and I just the way that it's been, everything else in the episode makes me not believe that.
I think, like, the most mature crystal gem, like, portion where he was talking about it, I think it wasn't pointing more at, like, her as a whole. Like, personally to me, I didn't think it was like, oh, Amethyst is the most mature out of everybody. I think it was just in that, like, scenario, because, everyone else was, crying, everyone was freaking out, everyone was running away, and Amethyst was more so thinking about someone other than herself. But that wasn't, like, her as a whole. It was kind of just more her as, like, a mental kind of stability at the time. I don't know,
Because she
that's just
really
how I
was the
look
only
at it.
person who stepped away from the big picture and said, "Oh crap, how's Steven doing?"
Yeah, because, like, if you can do that, if you can completely separate yourself from everyone else's problems and look towards somebody who's getting the most out of it, because, like, he just found out his mom was Pink Diamond, and no one really goes and asks him, hey, Steven, how do you feel about that? Everyone goes, well, I feel this way about it, so I'm going to do this. Like, it was more, I'm not going to react, I'm going to see how he's reacting. But I don't think he was talking about her as a whole. I think it was more just her in that situation.
Yeah, I think Amethyst probably feels similar to Steven, though, because, like, Rose, I think, is also kind of Amethyst's mom.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like, she's she's a mother figure to, like, all of the crystal gems, obviously, but, like, especially Amethyst.
Didn't she even say that at a point? Didn't Amethyst, like, call Rose her mom or something?
Yeah, during this episode, she's like, and your mom is, like, the way it's worded in the episode, it's like she's from Steven's point of view.
Yeah, she can totally understand and reflect and empathize with it, which is very mature of her. If you can empathize with somebody, that shows matureness.
Yeah, I just, like, I don't know. I don't know.
No, I wouldn't mark her as the most mature crystal gem out of all of them, like, in every scenario. I think it would be kind of like as just, like, in that moment, just that episode.
Yeah, I agree. In the moment of finding out that Rose is Pink Diamond, I think that she took it very well, considering the situation. So I think that's why she's, quote unquote, the most mature gem, but, compared to everyone else, I wouldn't put her in general that high on the totem pole.
Yeah, just a couple more things about this episode I want to mention. The humor in this episode was great. All the little, like, jokes and lines and stuff, like Amethyst's little goofs. Although they kind of at times they took away from the episode, they were funny. Like oh, what a spacious home. I think I'll keep it. Like that made me laugh a lot.
Yeah, just
I wish
tiny little Amethyst made me happy.
Oh, another.
Then she just McFrickin' broke out of it.
Yeah. um. This is a nitpick, but like when they're searching the town, wouldn't you go like, you know the way that Beach City is laid out. They walk around on the, I guess it would be the
boardwalk.
front of the temple, like the front they see. Yeah, you're on the boardwalk. Why is Fish Stew Pizza the last place you're looking? Because you know where it is. Like if you have, you know what, like the layout of Beach City on a map, like you would go past the Big Donut and then like right to Fish Stew Pizza, right? I'm not wrong. It's
Yeah,
like
no.
on the boardwalk. Like, no, you go to.
You go
I
from
mean-
the temple to PD,
Fun.
then to
Oh yeah, they go to Petey's
Funland,
food truck,
then
which is
to
again
the
on
lighthouse.
boardwalk. Yeah, like.
Like that.
And
Yeah, no,
then
I can
to
agree.
Fish Stew Pizza,
Well-
like that. Again, it's a nitpick. It's not important. It's just what. Like,
Well, the things I think I can understand why it is, because they go past Petey, who's like in the middle of the boardwalk.
Yeah.
He sees tons of people walking by. Then they go to Funland, go on the ride. Then they go to Lighthouse, get a good look out. Then they go to Fish Stew Pizza, where they think, okay, maybe she's inside of a building.
Yeah.
but
It's like, well, we're thinking, okay, we'll cover as much area as we can with our eyes. Then we'll start looking inside places.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
guess.
know.
I mean, yeah. I don't know.
I don't
Also,
know.
just-
Again, it's a nitpick. It's not important. It's just like, why?
Also, a small detail I really liked about Fish Stew Pizza is that when Steven's looking in the window, you can see a little A in the window, which means they got a good review from the health inspector.
Yeah.
So, woohoo.
Oh, that's funny.
That's a nice little touch.
I think.
I mean,
Yeah.
with that nasty looking pizza, good for them. Like, that was gross.
Well, I think that relates to Amethyst
I
really
mean, yeah, the point of
well
that is, like,
because
because like when Steven's talking, he's like, it's just too much, and he says as he's like scraping toppings off of the pizza. So like symbolism and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's still
but
like I love.
I like
pizza,
the fact
but
that it's
nasty.
literally all the toppings because Amethyst literally like her room in the temple is full of junk.
Pizza symbolism.
Yeah. It's the symbolism, it's the fact that it shows like just how Amethyst is messy,
Yeah.
and I love it. Although
I
I would not eat all of those toppings because most of those were shrimp and fish, and I'm not a fan.
Felt my arteries sobbing when I looked at it. I was like, oh, honey.
Everyone calls the dumb hill Brooding Hill. It's not just Ronaldo. That makes me laugh.
Oh, also, another good thing. Steven literally tackled helicopter Amethyst out of the sky, and it was
Yeah,
savage.
Well, that's what happens when you have floating powers and super strength.
I love
Hey, it's Admin Ronaldo from the Garnet Cast. Thank you for watching this episode of the Garnet Cast. Be sure to subscribe to the channel to see more episodes, and of course, join our Discord, link in the description down below. And if you haven't liked the Facebook page, which, I mean, realistically, that should be the reason why you're here, maybe go like that. Link also in the description.